there, Laurel with another Simply Card Making video, and today is my second project with the Create a Smiles stamps. I am guest designing with them for this month, and this is my second of 4 projects I'm going to be doing this month. And today I'm going to be making a 1-layer card with the Distress Ink custom ink pads, and I'm going to be using one of the new sets called Wrap It Up. So what I've started doing is this set, my previous project I made last week used the presents. So this week I wanted to use the smaller images that come in this set. So I'm going to stamp them in a line going vertically, kind of from halfway at the card mark and moving upwards. So I'm taking my acrylic block and placing all of the little images against the acrylic block so I'm sure that it's in a straight line before I go and pick it up. This is the best way that I could figure out to make sure that they're all, in a straight line. So then I'm going to fiddle around until I get it where I want it to be, and then I'm going to pick it up with my acrylic block. And I'm using one of the custom Distress Ink pads that I made. This one is Cracked Pistachio, Seedless Preserves, and Picked Raspberry. So you can see I'm just going in and selectively, I'm moving my stamps around on the block and just making sure I'm getting all of those colors. Really no rhyme or reason, but I like using this pad because you're getting multiple colors down on that stamp. And you'll see it close up in a few minutes. So I'm just going again, I'm going to go all the way up to the tip of that card, just continuing to rotate my stamp to make sure that I get all the different colors of this custom ink pad on these cute little images. They're absolutely adorable. The little Santa cracks me up, and there's also a reindeer I'm going to be using here in just a second. It's so cute. So I'm grabbing the sentiment from the same stamp set, which is called Wrap It Up. It says Merry Christmas, and I wanted to stamp it in a green. So I made a DIY ink pad in green. And by the way, at the end of this video, I have a link to the video where it shows how you make the DIY custom pads because they come completely blank, they're empty, and even the label on the outside is empty, and I show you how to do all that. Normally, I don't stamp sentiments with Distress Inks. I use Distress Inks mostly for techniques, and in this instance, I didn't get a very crisp image. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the tip of, this is my little Fantastics tool. It's got a little sharp tip on the other end of it, or a fine point rather, not a sharp tip. So I'm just picking up some of that green ink and filling in the areas that didn't stamp and no one will ever know. So now that I've got that all good and ready to go, it's time to move on. I'm going to pull out that cute little reindeer from the set. So adorable, these little images. I love that she's given you all these little images you can add into the presents on the stamp set. It's just great. I love it. So I thought I'd just stamp the little reindeer a little bit offset on top of that sentiment just to fill in some more of that space down there at the bottom. And I'm going to stamp that with the color Festive Berries Distress Ink. So I'm keeping this, Christmas colors, but I went in and added a hit of purple and pink. Hey, why not, So now I'm going to grab this other stamp set that I have of theirs. It's called Poppin' Over, and I love this stamp set. It's so cute. But the little stripes there, each one has its own little pattern on the inside, so I'm going to grab one of those because I needed something to kind of separate the design that we made with all the little images in the sentiment, and this was perfect. This image was perfect. So I'm taking another one of those custom blend ink pads there, and I'm just going to ink it up. So I'm just carefully making sure that I get all there's actually 3 different colors on there, just like the label. So I want to make sure I'm picking up all those colors from that pad, and then I'm just going to stamp it down. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. And because these are clear stamps and we're using a clear acrylic block, you can line it up just perfectly. And I thought that made a nice little divider on the card. Create a Smiles also has these really fun enamel stickers. So I'm going to grab, they have great colors, as you can see here. Of course, the one I'm going to go for is the pool color. That's like almost identical to the color in my daughter's room. And I'm going to use them as little brackets on either side of my Merry Christmas sentiment there. But such fun colors and shapes. They also have a wooden veneer line of words and shapes. Coffee shapes, anyone? So cute. So I encourage you to go over there and check that out as well. So now I'm just going to finish it up. I've got a teal panel here. I've cut down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I'm just going to layer the panel we just made right over the top, which will leave a 1/4 inch on the left and the right hand side of that teal shining through. And then I just adhered all that down to a white card base. So that's the card for today. Here are 2 videos that I've made in the past showcasing those custom blend ink, distress ink pads that you can click on each picture and it'll take you over to the video. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you, Christine, for having me as your guest for this month, and I'll be back again next week with a new project for Creative Smiles. And if you haven't already, if you click here to subscribe, if you click right on that little phrase right there, if you haven't already, that is, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I would love to have you. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to check out my blog at laurelbeard.org for more pictures, still photos, and more information.